Hi, I'm Julie Roberts, and I am the founder and executive coach at Amplify Living. I help busy professionals stop overworking so they can live full lives without sacrificing their careers. And I'm here to share 5 stress management strategies that busy leaders can use to feel stress-proof at work. Number 1, take the best rest approach. The best rest approach is about allowing yourself to pause when you feel stressed or depleted and ask yourself, what kind of rest do I really need? Rest is the way we become resilient against our daily stressors. The work of Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith, a medical doctor who wrote the book Sacred Rest, tells us that there are 7 different types of rest deficits. Our rest is not one size fits all. The 7 types of rest deficits are physical, mental, emotional, social, sensory, spiritual, and creative rest deficits. So when you're feeling stressed or you're feeling depleted, pause and ask yourself, what kind of rest do I need? And then choose a restful activity that will actually address your rest deficit. Number 2, practice 2 distinct kinds of self-care. So we discussed that rest helps us become resilient against stress. And rest is actually the backbone of self-care. It's my view that we need both fleeting and penetrating self-care to be resilient. Now, fleeting self-care is kind of all of our go-to restful activities. These are activities that we do to either take a break or to reward ourselves for the daily stressors we face. So that's the coming home and putting on your favorite house clothes, eating comfort foods, taking a bath, playing with the dog, maybe playing in the garden or exercising, all of those things we do to make ourselves feel better. But what fleeting self-care doesn't quite do is give us an answer to a problem that we're having or address a chronic stressor in our lives. Penetrating self-care encompasses activities such as coaching, therapy, journaling, meditation, personal development courses, maybe a professional development course. They give us a new life stance, a new mindset, a new solution to help us grow and address our chronic stressors. So for example, if you struggle with overworking, coming home every day and having a glass of wine and shopping on the internet does not cure you and help you feel better from chronic overworking. Whereas therapy or coaching might be able to help you stop overworking and leave you feeling more rejuvenated. So the idea here is that fleeting self-care is important and it makes us feel good. However, we need to pay attention to the self-care activities we're doing and making sure that the chronic stressors in our lives are being addressed through penetrating self-care. So having a combination of fleeting self-care and penetrating self-care is the secret sauce to feeling rejuvenated and to combat our stress. Number 3, take a team approach. It's my view that we need to build and leverage 4 distinct support systems, or what I call teams, to live a full life without sacrificing our career. And building these teams help us reduce our stress and have time to have that full life as we continue to excel in our careers. Today, we're going to talk about teamwork, one of the 4 teams. Teamwork is comprised of every resource available to you to help you excel in your career. The great news is you already have so many members of your team. We start with the organization for whom you work. So make a list of every person and department, every software you use, everything available to you that helps you do your job and excel. So for example, it's the people who report to you, your supervisors, administrative departments of your company, such as HR, IT, benefits and payroll, marketing, business development. After you list all of those resources, including things such as software that you use for your job, Take a look at external resources. This may be mentors and peers outside of your organization, alumni associations, professional development organizations, and make a list of every single resource. Every single resource you have as a team member. Then take a look at that group. Take each resource one by one and ask yourself, am I getting the support I need from this resource? We're so accustomed to evaluating our resources based on job descriptions or contracts or the mission of an organization, but we need to be asking ourselves if we get the support we need to excel in our careers and avoid overworking. So identify what's working well, where are there gaps, and where are you tolerating underperformance? So much of our overwork and stress is because we tolerate underperformance or we have poor communicating teams. So if we build and we leverage our team properly, we have the peace of mind of knowing that we can put our work aside and we can rest and participate in other things that we want to do to live a full life. So building and leveraging your support system at work is one of the best ways to manage your stress. Number 4, use the mindful calendar technique. I'll never forget the first time a client said to me, she gets so frustrated every day because she opens up her calendar and there isn't one appointment that's dedicated just to her. Everything is for work and for family. And this is so common. So many times we prioritize our commitments to others and we don't prioritize any time for ourselves. Taking agency over our calendars is one of the best ways to get the rest we need and to be able to live a full life and combat our stress. So the first thing we do is we input all of our commitments on our calendar. Work commitments, family commitments, kids activities, vacations, social obligations, everything goes on the calendar. Next, you look at each day and you schedule in time for yourself, scattered throughout the day. Maybe it's 10 minutes between virtual meetings. Maybe it's 30 minutes after work. Maybe an hour before bed for a restful bedtime routine. Look at your day and see where you can input time for yourself and schedule that time for yourself and keep your appointment with yourself. The next thing we do is we look again at our day and we ask ourselves, are there too many commitments in this day that leave us feeling depleted? And if that's the case, do we have an opportunity to reschedule any of them? So many times, again, we think our calendar is happening to us and we have no control over our calendar at all. When in actuality, sometimes we can move some commitments to other days where we won't be left feeling so depleted. And we do this activity every day and sometimes several times throughout the day, looking at our calendars, optimizing the time that we can have to ourselves, and rescheduling commitments where possible. So the mindful calendar technique is one of the best ways to take agency and make sure that you can have time for rest and you can have time for a full life, which allows you to be resilient against stress. Number 5, remember that you have a choice. You did not create hustle culture, urgency culture, performative workaholism, or toxic productivity. Therefore, you don't have to subscribe to it. I'm going to say that again. You did not create hustle culture, urgency culture, performative workaholism, or toxic productivity. Therefore, you don't have to subscribe to it. Changing our fixed mindsets around productivity allows us to become stress-proof. We often think that taking time off will have catastrophic consequences. Building and leveraging our support systems allows us to stop overworking and eliminate stressors to allow us to take time off with ease. The only way to change our belief around something is to have a new experience around it. So if you want to unplug at night, the only way to know that you can do that and everything will be okay is to try it. The only way to know that you can take a day off and you're going to perform better at work the next day is to try it. The only way to know that you can take vacation and your team is going to rise to the top while you're away is to try it. We can't eliminate the stressors in our lives, but we can begin to resist the ideologies that compound it. To recap, the 5 strategies to become stress-proof at work are to take rejuvenating rest, to practice a mix of fleeting and penetrating self-care, build and leverage your support teams, take agency over your calendar, and take intentional rest. Resisting toxic productivity and prioritizing rest allows us the ability to become resilient when we face stress.